With this feeling I can leave. I'm working and I'm dreaming. Will you dare to give it all up and walk by my side? Do you see?
We're many, we're united, and we're ready. We'll see you on May 20th.
A part of it just getting me apart now. Just getting me apart
Never before has the world been so aware of people and organizations trying to usher in a one-world government, where foreign billionaires control everything we do. We have a message for you power-hungry globalists. You overplayed your hand. We see you. We know your plans. And guess what?
We are many. We are united. We are ready. See you May 20th.
On that weekend, the Bilderberg Club are meeting in Lisbon, Portugal for their annual meeting. So we are meeting too. Freedom lovers all over the world will come together in their own country or travel to Lisbon to send a clear message. We are many, we are united, and we are ready. This is unlike any other freedom event we've ever had. It's not a protest, it's a display of collective courage and strength. We are not begging to be heard anymore. We don't care what their plans are, because we are ready. In just 3 years, billions of innocent people were put on house arrest, stripped of their human rights, bombarded with repetitive fear propaganda, forced to choose between their job and trial drugs, cancelled, silenced, and bullied for asking questions. Now, in 2023, we're dealing with inflation we can't afford, rising energy prices, climate change propaganda, cancel culture and division, intrusive surveillance, and increasing death rates. You can threaten us as much as you want.
All right, everybody. This is Jason, and you're on State of the Nation. Just in time as well. We're still having some slight technical connection difficulties, but it's not as bad as it was last night, that's for sure. And luckily, I decided to start this early, so I'm gonna have to trim off about 10 minutes of this once it goes and gets published, because I had to reset the whole system again. But every time I have to reset a live, I have to send links back to the guests, and after 3 or 4, that gets pretty annoying. So we're into our second to last guest for this We Are Ready worldwide live stream weekend broadcast. It's been a mission, I tell you. By the time I'm done, it'll be 30 hours. Well, not all of it's streaming, but 30 hours getting ready and organizing and doing things. So it's been a heck of a weekend, for sure. And we're currently now going over to Alaska, and we're going to talk with Garrett from Liberty Action Group out there in Alaska, and he's got his event. So let's cross over, and let's see if Mr. Garrett is there. Hi, Garrett. Hi, everybody. We just don't get your audio. Have you got your mic on there? Let's have a look. See. I can see you. Look, yes, we are for some reason, we're not picking up on their audio. I am connected. Oh, look at all of those people. Let's close that out. Let's close that out. There we are. Okay, we're just not picking up any audio. No problem. No problem. Yeah. Throw in those headphones. So there you go. Yeah, these are the joys of live streaming. And it looks like even his connection's not very nice. It doesn't seem very clear. Oh, we're at the tail end of this, so we'll have to endure the connection situation. We're looking pretty good though. Now, while Garrett is organizing his audio, just a little bit of background information. Out there in Alaska, their group is focusing on sustainability when it comes to agriculture. In Alaska, they have to import a large majority of their food. And it's quite crazy why they don't actually grow it. And this is a problem. Even in a place like New Zealand, like don't want you to grow it. In the Netherlands, they don't want you to grow it. When all these places stop growing food, how do people eat? You know, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, of course, we could eat Klaus's the bugs. We could eat the bugs for the breakfast. Sounds very remarkably similar to what happened in Nazi Germany. It looks like a spitting image from what's that guy, the spy that shagged me, Austin Powers, supervillain, Klaus Schwab. So yes, we are having an audio difficulty with that. So I'm wondering. Let's just do a interesting. Let me scroll down. Okay, so on my side, your microphone is on. And my mic is on. I've got levels on mine. Yes. I think perhaps what you need to do, Garrett, is flick into the. I don't know what yours looks like, but you have a menu. You have a microphone, a camera, and you have an invite guest. So you have a plus sign, and you have a settings. You have to click on that settings on the turn wheel. Click on that and designate probably headphones. I'm pretty sure that's what it would be. And sometimes what happens with these things is that you have to go and you click it, and let me have a look at it. For example, there's audio there, and I've got a default.
Check.
There you go.
All right, we got
there
it. We got it figured out. Awesome. Yeah.
There, that little wheel there does it all.
All right. All right, we got it.
All right.
So you can hear us?
Well, you know you're in the largest state of the union when you're anchored down in Anchorage.
Yeah, that's right. Anchorage. So we're going to see if we can get you to hear. I'm going to try and stream the audio out of the TV because I've got the microphones hooked up, but now I've got to get the audio to stream through the TV. And let's see if we can do that. That should be, or that one.
I'm not sure. It might be this one because it's.
You can still hear me?
I can hear you indeed. No problem.
Okay, hold on. Check.
Checking. Gotcha.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Can do.
Okay, here we go. So now I think we've got it so we actually hear you. And here is the group that we've got here so far. All right. Here we are. Everybody say hello.
Hello, Alaska.
All right.
Welcome to the We Are Ready Wild Weekend. I call it the Wild Weekend.
Well, we got it figured. I know it's been super busy. You've been doing a lot of things. So you're in Hanoi, is that correct?
I'm not so far. Well, actually, I'm right down the bottom. I'm in Vietnam. Sorry, I'm in Saigon. Previously known as Saigon, Ho Chi Minh. Was it you that had spent some time in in Hanoi?
Yes, yeah, I was teaching English there for a year. Well, I was in Hanoi for about 6 months, but I was in Korea for about 1 year teaching English there. So, yep, I did get to go to Saigon
That's
once.
right. That was you. That was you, mate.
Saigon was too hot.
Oh, dude, it's so hot. I'm actually living out here near the Cambodian border in a place called Kuchi, which is famous for those tunnels. You know,
Oh
the
yeah,
famous tunnels
yep.
during the war, and they sort of stretch out across under the Canadian border and not Canadian, the Cambodian border, the Ho Chi Minh Trail they call it, the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So I live
Yeah, I've
down
been.
near the army base, and it's still really hot here.
Yeah, I did a motorcycle tour down there. Anyhow, we've been talking about all kinds of things, and our discussions have definitely touched about a lot of subjects such as food security. We've talked about a little bit about the cryptocurrencies, the CBDCs. We talked about state control and how we can, as citizens, kind of regain that control and how we can actively motivate people to do that. So, I wanted to create a network of community like-minded people to get involved and, of course, support our local farmers. There's people that already have farms and are doing great things, and I think it's super important that we support them. And I don't know if you want to share any of the other ideas that you have, and anything else that you may have picked up from talking with some of the other folks around the world.
Yeah, what I can do in about 30 minutes or so, we've got Raul coming on. He's also an English teacher, and he's now living in an off-grid house. He's built a house in the mountains in the Philippines, and he's doing everything like solar power, electricity. I think he's dived into aquaponics as well. Got his own chickens, does his own agriculture. He's completely off the grid, and that's why I wanted to tee you two both up sort of to close up on the timeline because you were both on very common subjects.
Oh, very cool.
Very common, very common. And I might also invite my co-host from our other channel. She wanted to jump in on the last one. So I'm just going to send her the link to see if she can come into the room to join us, and we can all have a chinwag about sustainability. Now, you were saying to me, that 90% of the food in Alaska is imported in some way.
I would say close to 90%. I mean, a majority of the food that we get is shipped up, right? Barged up or flown in. Most of it's barged up. So yeah, so it's the food security thing I think is super important that we do because there's I don't know if you've heard, but there's mRNA technology being used to introduce the mRNA vaccines potentially into the food, such as beef, pork. I've heard lettuce even. And I know that they've been using it at least experimentally with milk and mice, being able to somehow some part of milk, I think it's the casein or casein, actually is able to bypass the digestive process, and so it's able to be absorbed in the bloodstream. At some point, I'm sure they're going to want to introduce that to the human population. So I think it's really important that we are aware of it and we start really supporting our people that are already in the food industry, that are creating local food that we know that aren't injecting their cattle or their chickens or their animals with crazy hormones or vaccines or things like that.
There is a friend of mine in New Zealand. They're on Telegram, and she's got a brilliant idea, and she's got a group called the New Zealand Seed Exchange. And what she has is she has a group of people who are interested in farming at any level, at the macro level, the micro level, at home or large. But the thing is to get your hands on seeds that are pure, still pure, and not come from Monsanto with the termination, the suicide gene or anything like that. So that's something that you can do is you can look on the internet and you can check out places. I'll drop this into the chat actually.
Oh, that helps.
Rosie, there's Rosie. There, Rosie's coming in. I'll drop this link to the seed exchange. Brilliant lady, and I'll put that into the chat, the live chat there, and then after the broadcast, that live chat will disappear, and I'll pop it down in the actual comment section, and it's a Telegram group. So there's one thing that you can do is try and get your hands on it. If people if people are planting and they're you know that they got the suicide gene because it won't grow again after one harvest, it's dead as a door now. That's a suicide gene. So as long as before all this mRNA stuff comes in, you got to get ready with the seeds. That's where you start. You start with the seeds first, and then you start a collection, and then you eventually teach yourself about it and get a bit more professional. I'm not that professional about it. My wife is actually quite good at it. Um, you know, being here in Vietnam, we didn't have this crazy experience, although we did have the lockdown and all that, and they did vaccinate everybody. They did, but it wasn't long lasting. It didn't last very long. I don't know why. It just wasn't as crazy as it was, but the whole vaccination thing was just like vaccinating in the streets. It was a big propaganda campaign. But anyway, it didn't last as long as most countries. It was very quick, very brief. But we were off school for about a year, and and I was downtown in Saigon. So the very first thing I did was get out of there, get out of the city, and I went down to the beach, which is about an hour and a half away, and I stayed and I spent the whole lockdown down there, and it was very casual and all that, and people were farming and that sort of stuff down there. So I knew that if there were any problems, food supply, that I'm surrounded by farmers. I could definitely get food. That was not a problem. But being stuck in downtown Ho Chi Minh, you've been to Ho Chi Minh, you know how busy that place really is and really condensed. And people get on the crazy chain if they're hungry or they've run out of money and in large volumes. Crazy crowds become like really, really dangerous. So you get out of there. So you're already rural out there anyway. So what you want to do is get your friends together and start looking at the seed qualities, and then start building them up and going online. There's still a lot of seed vaults online that you can use. I know the US has a whole bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of them. If you look at the prepper channels, like Canadian Prepper, he's a really famous guy. Look at the prepping channels, and they actually have links to seed vaults. So that's where you start. That would be my recommendation. Start there.
Yeah, I'm just checking to see if you can still hear me because I did something with the computer. Are you still?
Yes,
still
I
able?
can.
Okay,
I can hear you
good.
fine.
All right, very good. Yeah, so I mean, these are the things that I've been trying to pay attention to for a while. There's a lot of people here that are. I know there's a local heirloom seed. They have them. They sell them at a local market here called the Goods. I definitely highly suggest people to go there. There's somebody that has land, as they said, that they're willing to allow anybody to come out and develop the land, farm it, basically for free. And I'm not sure. We'll probably have to work out the details. But there are people that have land. It is a rural area. There are like a lot of like-minded individuals here. And I'm really hoping that we can try to get something going along that line this summer. Our summers are pretty short. They're long days, but the summer's a short season. It only lasts for about 3-4 months, and then our summer's pretty much done. But we have long growing days, but we got to start pretty much now. We're in May, so there should be people out there and tilling the land right now, getting things going. We also got things called high tunnels, which are, I don't know if you ever heard of a high tunnel, but they're just these huge things. I mean, you can get like upwards of 20, 30 feet tall, I think. They can get pretty tall. Maybe not that high, but at least 20 feet, I think. And it's basically made with visqueen, like a plastic covering. And what that does, it kind of extends the shoulder of the seasons, the beginning and towards the end of the season, so that we can prolong and get, more vegetables and things like that out of it. So that's a cool thing that people do here. So I'm not sure how many high tunnels you might see down in New Zealand or in any of those places. Probably don't need them because the weather's so hot and humid pretty much year round.
Yeah, it's pretty warm in New Zealand. We have seasonal growing, so we get a lot of things like apples, pears. It's not warm enough for things like pineapples and bananas, but it's also subtle enough to grow saffron as well. But have to go down a little bit further south. Saffron is the world's most expensive herb,
Yeah.
which normally grows in areas around Afghanistan and around. So it's pretty sort of high areas. But yeah, I mean, when you look at general kiwi fruit, apples, peaches, pears, plums, strawberries, lettuces, cucumbers, that sort of thing, basic greens. And the greens will go like those high tunnels, and you can also take advantage of aquaponics. Aquaponics being a really intelligent system, and you can run the whole system off solar power. Solar power, and I know that there are some designs that just rely on gravity. They're gravity-based systems that don't have any electricity at all. You got to get pretty fancy. You got to be a good engineer to wrap your head around how they do that. But you bypass a lot of the problem. Like if you use these high tunnels, and you have vertical growing systems. I like to be vertical because you can go straight up, or you can have like the A-frame style, and you quadruple your space. Like if you were just going flat, you don't get the benefit of taking these A-frames. But I like the circular ones. They go straight up. And you just put your leafy greens in it, and you have everything flowing into a pool. Some people don't like the idea of killing animals, like in terms of crisis. The old hunter-gatherers, get out there and get yourself a wild buffalo, get that
we got
thing.
moose.
But some people just
we got moose up
there you
here.
go, the moose.
And, and then of course fish. Plenty of salmon here in the summertime.
Yep, fish and salmon. There you go. And you can get like a basic fish that is it's easy to breed. I'm pretty sure salmon would be very difficult to breed in a non-natural environment. But you get fish like a tilapia. Tilapia, a very common fish in Southeast Asia, and they basically grow anywhere. They put them in a pool, and they'll just keep multiplying in almost any temperature. You're gonna have to. You definitely need to consider that you have a very long winter. So you just pick and choose what you can grow in those seasons, because there are some leafy greens that'll grow all year round. And if you've got yourself one of those big towers, if farmers have them, and they're running a sort of a heat system, and I'm no engineer. You'd have to talk to an engineer to get it done, and I'm sure there's a bunch of intelligent people who can work it out between the group. But some kind of heat system, and run it all on solar power. You probably don't even need electricity. But the problem would be winter again. The lack of sunlight.
The tilapia pool wouldn't probably last too much past October, November before it starts to get too cold for the fishies. It would have to be a
You'd be playing hockey pool on it.
Exactly.
You'll end up playing a game of hockey on tilapia pool.
Hey, if the fish, they could actually, survive a deep freeze for that, and then kind of just regenerate in the spring, that'd be awesome.
I'll send you a link. I actually screened and shot this movie. Man, the guy was there were some scientists in the US, and they were focusing on algae. And they had bypassed thousands of years of the evolution, and they were able to pull it off in just a few weeks. And the powers that be, well, there seemed to be some kind of competition. They didn't like what they were doing because he was proving that the big chemical-based systems were a complete waste of time. I can't remember the name of the movie. I've got it. I actually, like, it's one of those limited ones. And like you had to buy it and all that, and you had to wait till it came out officially, but they were just doing a preview for like put in your email address and then watch it now for the next 24 hours. That type of movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so I actually thought the movie was really cool, and so I actually screenshot the whole thing. I screenshot the whole movie.
That's one
Yeah,
way to
because
buy that.
I wasn't sure if I could see it again. And so I'll hunt that down, and in your email, I'll put it online somewhere. So maybe in Telegram or something where it's easy to put online. And yeah, you can have a look at it. Amazing technology that they were using, but this guy, it was revolutionary. And just by chance, the place happened to blow up. The laboratory just happened to blow up, burn down.
Wow.
So that was quite unfortunate. What have I got there? I'm just trying to.
So if that link that you're sharing, is that something on, you said, is it on your Telegram channel, or is it I see one that you have pulled up, that one you shared at the New Zealand Seed Exchange channel. That's on Telegram.
Yes.
Is there do
Yes.
they have another regular site? Because I know not everybody has Telegram here. Is that something that we could probably just look up?
Well, that's really
Okay. Here's our partner, Rosie Convoy. I don't know if your connection is any better than mine there, Rosie. Mine is looking pretty trashy today. I've had a bad connection since late last night.
you can see my.
So we're talking about sustainable. People are probably listening in the back office, in the back studio.
That was.
But yeah, the New Zealand Seed Exchange. I don't think they have a website. I do have her on my signals. She's actually a friend of mine. I don't think she's got a website. But being in Alaska, you'd probably be better to go with a Canadian option. And Rosie here, she's from Canada, but she's on the way other side. She's in British Columbia, and you're in Alaska, which is the complete opposite direction, isn't? Is it? Oh, was that
okay.
close?
Well, we're north. We're north of British Columbia, so yeah. But
Oh,
they're,
okay. So
they're
okay.
on the west there. So I mean.
Oh, that's right. You are okay. So yeah, because you came from Ontario and then you came all the way back. Okay. All right. I get confused because there's such a huge place, and
Right.
she went from one side of the country to the other side of the country, and now she's come back again. Right, Rosie?
Ah,
Yeah.
There
Okay. Yeah.
Just like
Okay. So yeah, well, we're talking about seed exchanges.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, are you familiar with any seed exchanges there in Kelowna?
There's Summerhill Winery here in town. They do one every single spring, and it's organic, and yeah, it's put on by the Sipes family.
Summerhill Winery.
Summerhill Winery. And
they have a seed exchange?
Yeah. As far as I know,
There you go.
they did like a couple of years ago. I don't know why they would stop, but yeah, he puts the post out, and you can just like show up with whatever heirloom seeds you have, and it's just like a good old fashioned swap so that we keep like the strains healthy. And
yeah,
he's a good guy, Gabe Sipes. He's a good guy. So yeah, it's definitely a thing here.
Hopefully we got somebody taking notes here, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep in touch there. So I noticed your name, is it Rosie? Is it Convoy? Were you involved with the convoy that happened last year?
I was as involved as I could be, but I headed out to Ontario in April, just in time for the Rolling Thunder, and didn't leave for a year, just over a year. Finally came back like 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago to yesterday. So but no, I just thought I'd combine my favorite thing.
Yeah, Rosie and I, we are admins for the New Zealand Truckers, New Zealand. I have got the name of my group, New Zealand Truckers Convoy 2022-Freedom. New Zealand Truckers Convoy 2022-Freedom. I set up a Facebook page in support of our North Island convoy. And there was another one that ran the south of our, and so we were the admins for that. We were the original OG admins for the New Zealand Truckers Convoy for the North Island. And so we supported the North Island convoy. Although I have never been on a convoy, and I've never been on. Well,
Oh,
I have been on a protest, but it was like 1992. It was the last time I was on a protest. But I've been doing all this stuff remotely online. So I've been closely involved with the convoy movement and all that in New Zealand. But I've been doing a lot of online stuff for them, videos and interviews and that sort of thing for the folks.
you're the best
And
kind of keyboard warrior.
I'm a total keyboard warrior. Judy here, she got really inspired, and so she was we were both adminning, and she was there in Kelowna. I always got to get the pronunciation right. Kelowna.
Kelowna.
She was there in Kelowna, so she got the itch, and then she jumped in her beast, put the New Zealand flag on top of it on the bonnet,
Yep.
and stormed off to Ontario. Went across the country.
Yeah.
Nice.
Spent
Yeah.
in the Southern Ontario area. Spend many happy hours on Parliament Hill in Ottawa, doing my bit.
Honking your horn.
Honk, honk, teddy bear.
They had shut down Wellington Street, so they weren't letting vehicles in. But I managed to sneak my Jeep in as far as I could, and then took a couple of really cool pictures.
And there were a lot of cool contrasts between Ottawa and in Wellington, because they were on Wellington Street, and our occupation was in Wellington City.
Yeah, and
so they were on Wellington Street. We were in Wellington City.
Canadian Parliament is on Wellington Street.
Yeah, so there was some pretty cool crossover stuff, and the Canadians and the New Zealanders were following the same playbook. That's how we could figure out, because we were both connected from the Canadian side and the New Zealand side. We were watching it because we ran the group. We ran one of the only group that's still surviving. All the other group got taken down. They got to about 90K members, and Facebook just trashed them. But yeah, we're still the only group that survived, and we still got we had 27K. We're down to about 24.5K now. Facebook slowly unsubscribes people one by one. About 2,000 over the past year.
Yeah.
So we still get victims and harassed by Facebook.
Well, that's why I think it's really important that people move over to these other social media platforms such as Telegram and BitChute. And we can continue our communications and our uniting for the effort for all the people that are concerned about what's going on with the globalists and the globalism and where it's going. It's moving very quick, as you guys are well aware. And I want to keep in touch. We're the northern neighbors. And, with Canada, I have family in Canada. Actually, I have family in the Yukon. And we have our own convoy. There was Alaskan convoy that I think went towards at least to the Canadian border. I'm not sure if they crossed over or not. But there was definitely a lot of support for that was going on. The amount of people that showed up over there in Canada was amazing. And I think it was one of those wake-up points for people around the world. A lot of people around the world supported that. I mean, and then of course Trudeau was not too happy about it. I think he was probably a little scared. He wasn't to be found. He wasn't even there, was he?
He disappeared. He disappeared, and he did press conferences from outside a house on Vancouver Island, but there was no confirmation that's where he was. But no, he tucked his tail. He tucked his tail and he went away.
Well, it wasn't because he had COVID, right?
Well, that's what he said. He said he had it or something.
Yeah.
But, no, it was the lack of spine that kind of made him disappear.
Yeah, that was pretty chicken shit, to be honest. After the comments that he made, and then they all turned up on his doorstep. The fringe minority. 1.4 million people made their way to Ottawa. Did you know that? That was just a statistic that was in the video. Was it the video that you just sent me, or did I get that last night when I was watching another video? I don't know.
I sent it to you after you shut down the last one. But yeah, there was a couple 100,000 trucks and 1.4 million people. And then what I
Yeah.
found out while I was in Ottawa is there was a lot of people that flew in from around the world because they saw what was happening and they just had to be a part of it. So there was a lot of people that just had to go to Ottawa, had to be a part of it, and I'm sure they weren't in the numbers. And then of course, with the media, he said that it's only a small amount of trucks, but that's because there were so many that were allowed into the city. So there were camps of trucks all around that weren't part of the media group, like, because they weren't like, oh, well, we counted them. There's only, a couple hundred, but no, there's a couple hundred here, and there's a couple hundred there, and there's a couple hundred there, and there's a couple hundred there, and there's a couple hundred there. And it was just, the classic downplay it because if people learned the truth, then he would just have to eat his words. And I've never seen, I've only seen a few leaders that have as much pride and self-interest at heart. He'll never admit he was wrong, but I revel in the day that he finally resigns or he's replaced by someone else. There's no way the Liberals are going to win the next election.
I would hope not. I was surprised that he got reelected to begin with, but then again, I don't even know if I trust elections anymore these days, and especially when you got these young global leaders that have already been put there by the World Economic Forum. I'm not too sure if we can even trust our own elections anymore. And with America, with Mr. Biden.
Yeah, he snuck it in. All of a sudden, there was an election happening. People got their things in the mail. And I think it was only like 30% of Canadians, 32% of Canadians that actually voted. So, and of course, they're going to be the ones that, the true dopes. They're going to show up for an election. So yeah, no, completely illegitimate prime minister, illegitimate. So, it's like you guys.
Yeah, well,
hashtag not.
I mean, 2020.
Hashtag
sorry,
Mister.
I guess it was the 2020 elections or the 2022 elections or whenever the elections were, because all around the world it was all stolen.
Yeah.
There was a very conscious effort to steal countries, as though they'd launched the Great Reset platform, which was the corona bear bug. They got the corona bear bug started that kept everybody at home. That was and transferred all the wealth to the already wealthy people, and anybody that could get a job online was lucky, and so they were quite comfortable, and so they relied on the government to keep them safe because they were now keyboard laptop warriors. There you go. This is my vaccine passport. Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with the White Rose and what they're doing with these little stickers that people have been posting up all around the world?
No, I'm not.
We just have it.
I know the White Rose is a BitChute channel, isn't it?
Telegram, actually. I'm not sure what happened to your
Telegram.
feed.
There you go.
We got cut. Looks like we might.
Yep. I'm just trying to figure out.
This is the White Rose. Just so you can see, this is we definitely want people to support them. Get these stickers, pass them around, stick them everywhere you can. It's let's see. I could probably put in the chat here just what the. Well, you know what? I'm not sure if I can't even. I don't even know why my computer's not working now, but maybe you guys can see that. That's the Telegram channels right there.
Well, it's
the White Rose
because it's backwards. So you'll just have to.
Backwards. I'll put it in when I can. I guess.
Oh, so Garrett, when the stream ends, put it in the comments. Like go straight to the channel.
There we
New
go.
Zealand State of the Nation. Just put it right into the comments.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Now, we have Tarzan. Tarzan has joined us.
Hi. Good morning.
Tarzan, are you able?
Yeah.
Are you able to go vertical? Are you able to flip your phone vertical?
I could. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
If that's any better.
A little bit.
For the screen. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's a bit. For some reason, my headset is not working either. It's just I'm hearing everything from the phone rather than the headset. I don't know why, but Anyway, have a look here.
There you go. I sorted you out now. All right, very good. So let's just introduce everybody. So Tarzan here is my mate Raul. So Raul, Garrett here above you is
I was
in.
listening in.
He's in.
Yeah, I was listening in actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all basically English teachers from Asia, and so you heard about all. Okay, so you were listening to the whole conversation from your house, right?
Hi.
Okay, so that's where we're at. We're at now. You're a prime example because you are now 100% self-sufficient out there in the mountainous areas of the Philippines, and
Southern
I've seen
Philippines,
your
indeed.
videos. And look at the view. Look
Yeah.
at the view. Look at how up you are. It's massive.
If I can actually, the reflection, it's something like that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Complete jungle. Nobody here, no neighbors. Like
And you're
this. Yeah. It's nice and quiet here. Sorry for the background noises. I don't know. My dogs are going crazy for some reason, and the goat. It started raining just now, so I forgot to bring in my goat, and it's not very happy. I could barely bring in my. I was sun drying some tomatoes. I'm trying to get some sun dried tomatoes, but the weather changes so quickly. So basically, it started raining. Got the tomatoes in, but the goat is still out. So sorry for the background noises.
You just said how quiet it was there.
Quiet, except well, no city noises, no traffic, no but we got roosters going crazy all day long, goats, dogs, all kind of things like I think I can take my headset off. It's not. I think it wasn't working for some reason. But that's the life in the jungle. Been here for the past 2 years now. When basically once the whole COVID joke started, I got the place here, but I've been building for almost more than living here already for 2 years, almost 3 years. I've been building and still building. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay. Can you all still hear me? Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, mate. Yeah. It's just like. Did you? You did set up a. You did set up a. Are you there?
It's not. Yeah, it's not going in.
You want to come over
sound
here
is still coming from the
right here. Help yourselves. I got free DVDs.
Did you? Because I remember you had set up some kind of bamboo aquaponics system. Do you still run that?
Not really. No, it wasn't very successful. Yeah, but I did basically. Because we have unlimited supply of bamboo here nearby in the jungle. So I prefer to use local bamboo for like most of the stuff here. But the aquaponic system was not very. It didn't work very well. So that was just a failed experiment.
Do you know why it failed?
Yeah, well, for me, it was I would have still had to. I would have had to have electric pump. That was my main thing, and because everything is on solar. My whole household runs on solar, and it wasn't even. I think it was only like 50-watt pump, but I would have had to have it running constantly. And I just thought it anyway. Because of the pump, the gravity thing didn't work out. I tried the gravity based, but so. I still use maybe I can show you later. I still use them, but I just grow some random plants in it now. There is no water going through. Yeah, no.
Oh, I see. You just basically use them as pots now.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like get my baby plants there and then I replant them because I find it overall for me because I got plenty of land here. It's still better to grow them normally in soil. Like I guess if I wouldn't have that much land, I could probably think some. Even though aquaponics actually it can also make things grow faster if you
faster and bigger if you do it right. So he's frozen for a moment, so we'll wait for his connection to come back. But yeah, I'm trying to get into aquaponics myself. But one thing leads to another. We moved over to this property. Like I had a small house down the road. now I moved into like a thousand square meter property, which had already existing banana trees and pineapples, mangoes, guavas, different types of fruit trees, and now where my wife, she's the one doing most of the garden. I'm not a gardener. I'm an English teacher.
Same here. Same here.
I'm not a gardener. I'm an English teacher.
And Jason, have you tried any of your pineapples yet? I saw you had pineapples as well. Have you eaten any?
I think she did pull one off.
I know.
Yeah, she pulled one off. We have had it. Yeah, it wasn't very big though. We only like this. Wasn't so big. It wasn't very big. I was kind of wondering why she pulled it off, but she said that it was time. Yeah. So they're out there in Alaska, and they're trying to focus on food sustainability. So we were talking about seeds, that being a good starting point of making sure that you have the right seeds. Is there anything else you want to add into that, Garrett?
Let me just see if that worked. If I unmuted my mic, can you hear me? Probably not. Okay, that's
yes.
Okay, hold on. Yes.
You're
okay,
cutting up there, Jason. You're all pixelated.
That's the feed starting to deteriorate. Can you hear me?
I see all of you guys.
Yes.
It's fine, but
Okay.
but
Okay.
Tarzan, you seem to freeze up.
Yeah. Well, he's out. He's up in the mountain.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think just
it comes and goes.
The idea with food security is something that is really important for us here, because we live in Alaska, where we get about probably 90% of our food or so, at least, is shipped up here. It's barged here and not grown. We do have fruit producers, but they're few and far between. There's not a whole lot. There's some folks we call the Valley. That's about from where we are, about 150 to 200 miles away from where we are. And we do have some local producers, though, here on the what's called the Kenai Peninsula. And I want to stress the importance of supporting them and making sure that we vote with our dollars. Our dollars aren't going towards big corporations like Walmart, and these they're basically globalist corporations. They don't care about really what goes into people's mouths. It's just what's the bottom line. That's all that matters to them. So I think it's super important.
Yeah, we try as well here, especially with the local community. So instead of people here taking it to the market, to the city, we try to kind of, I buy everything local. So instead of me going to the city, getting it from the market, paying extra for the transport and everything, I'd rather get it from the local people, like, all my feeds for, like, corn for my chickens, things like that. And it's much cheaper. And so pretty much if I don't grow it, someone else
will.
Yeah. Someone else will grow it, and I'll finish the sentence for him. Someone else will grow it, and
yeah, there's a lot of farmers markets here in my area too, because the Okanagan Valley, where I'm at, there's a lot of
and obviously here we don't have seeds.
Patty, you leaving? All right. Thanks for coming out.
You think that they don't have seeds?
Network.
Yeah.
This is kind of the starting, hopefully, of
we were finishing your citizen for you.
Sorry.
Yeah. So you're saying you don't have like any kind of seed exchange? Where do you get your seeds from?
For me?
Tarzan.
Who?
Yeah, Ro.
Oh, yeah. All local. Because, like, I mean, if I have, like, bell peppers or tomatoes or whatever, I'll just take it, basically. So I have bought some as well. But, I mean, we could have seed exchange, yeah. But, like, basically from the stuff that I eat, I get seeds through them. Some things grow random, like, for example, the watermelons we had where that was a few years ago already. We just ate the watermelons out of the window, and then, a few months later we had new watermelons. It's quite random. Same with, like, tomato seeds, peppers, everything is just throw them in and they grow. It's minimal effort here.
Yeah, well, we have the same kind of Vietnam, as you know. Anyway, we have the same kind of a wet market that they have in the Philippines. So you just the local market. But there are like
Yeah.
some farmers do have that practice. Like sometimes I think that the local farmer is no better than the corporate farmer because they still kind of a lot of them do use the same sort of chemicals and stuff. So you've still
They
got to
do, but I
go
would.
ahead.
Yeah, but see here, most people don't have that much money to even buy the chemical fertilizers. You know, like your little Carabao manure or the goat, goat poo and stuff like that, which obviously is the best. But some people do, but you can see the difference. If I see like bell peppers that are this size, of course I know that they have used something, you know. But you can also the taste, the skin is also different. I don't use any none of the chemicals, like, so it's just like yeah Carabao poo is very good. That's amazing mixed with the soy. Goat poo as well, amazing. So yeah,
We have
and then
Carabao's
fish.
here as well. Mm,
Yeah, it's a national animal here. Carabao does everything. It's the
mm.
only mode of transportation as well. When it rains, even motorcycles wouldn't. You can't here in the mountains. But Carabao can still go through any weather, and yeah, they can. And I guess in the last resort, you can also eat them. Pretty much like beef. So it's So it's like it provides, and they're very smart as well. Like for like all kind of heavy duty tasks. They can do a lot. Yeah, Carabao.
Yeah, up by where I work, there's about a dozen or so Carabaos of all sizes,
Ponds. So that's
and
I'm a
they
bit lazy at the moment, but I should probably use that water instead of rainwater for like watering plants.
mm, yeah, that's right, that's right. Yeah, there's about a dozen Carabao up near where I work, and they actually live on concrete. They live in a concrete yard, but during the day, the the farmer walks them down the street, the tarmac street, and then onto a field, and they hang out there for the day. And at the end of the day, he walks them back, and they all
Yeah,
just follow along. Yeah,
You guys,
leaving their
yeah.
trademark
This is
everywhere.
this is the
you guys
true,
being careful.
but they are also like
Rosie,
I thought you guys were talking about
you don't
caribou.
mean
What's a caribou?
Carabao.
Yeah.
A Carabao is a cow. A cow.
No.
It's an Asian cow. It's that they got big horns.
no,
Yeah,
they're bad.
propaganda exposed. It looked like he got a book club there as well.
Propaganda exposed.
Yeah, looks like they've got a book club.
Yeah, this is so I'm actually made
My
copies of a lot
Wi-Fi
of
is
things.
cutting up.
Is it? Let's see. May I? Well, I'll keep talking. I just wanted to
Carry on,
say
carry
this
on.
briefly. Yeah, there's a lot of things on this table here. Let me just show you what I've got here because
Yeah, let's take a
I
look.
gotta detach this. See if you guys can see.
Oh wow.
Can you see that? There we
We
go.
can.
So those are a lot of the stickers that I've printed off with the white rose, and then I've got like just some DVDs that I've copied. There's like COVID Land. I don't know if you can see that one. So yeah, these aren't books necessarily, but there's a lot of information.
Yeah,
You
well,
guys
it's
see
all
that there?
manual
So
information
yeah,
too. Yeah, yeah. Paperback.
yeah,
Information
I
that
got those.
can't be lost when the internet
Yeah.
goes down.
Blame Jacinda.
Mm. But
There we
did
go.
you say blame Jacinda?
I
Yeah,
can't
for
move too
technical
much, otherwise.
Isn't that how we roll?
That's how we roll here.
Blame all governments for all and any technical difficulties we ever have, now and forever.
Yeah.
It's always-
Any internet connection problem, any overheating of your computer, we now blame Justin Trudeau and Jacinda Ardern for that.
And Biden. Let's just blame Biden too. I just throw them all.
Yeah, it goes beyond those guys, though. It goes beyond them.
Oh yeah, it goes all the way to the top for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So how often do you folks in Alaska meet up? Is it like a weekly meetup or a monthly or bi-weekly? How often is your meetup usually?
Well, we used to meet here at the Ammo Can Coffee about once a week, every Saturday. We met for a while after because we had really bad lockdown measures. They were, everybody was trying to say, you got to get a vaccine, all this stuff. So me and the owner of the coffee house here organized an event called the Medical Liberty Rally. We had it in a local park. There was a lot of people that showed up. We got some emails and kind of started from there. And we well, maybe about a year, maybe half a year, kind of on a regular basis. That kind of started going on the wayside when the summer came, because in the summer, that's when everybody's going out fishing. They're doing all kinds in the summer here because it's our time to do everything because it's such a short period of time. But I'm trying to get it going again. I want people to network. I think it's really important that we network with each other. We meet face to face, not just through social media and things like that. And we get to know who our local farmers are. And we got a few, our local people here. So, and I think it's super important. Have you guys ever heard of Freedom Cells? Freedom Cells, like .org.
Freedom Cells. Is that CELL or
Yeah, so
SELL?
freedomcells.org. It's an organization. It's a decentralized organization of people that just like-minded. They want to get together, and there's pockets, in the states. There's around the world. I think there's probably even maybe some in Australia. I'm not sure, but it's this idea of networking community, and we can talk about making sure that we have food security, even self-defense. There's a lot of topics that could be talked about and then acted on within that community. So yeah, it's a pretty good site. I would like to start a Freedom Cell here on the Kenai Peninsula and see where it goes. But there are people that are doing it. It's Derek Bros. If you guys ever heard Derek Bros, John Bush, they're doing amazing things in Texas and Mexico with getting land, exit and build. That means exit the system, build a new system that's parallel to what is going on right now, so that when CBDC is getting rolled out and all these digital currencies, things like that, or mandating vaccines, we can say, you know what, we're not going to do that. We're gonna operate within our own network, our own system, and it's outside of theirs.
This is amazing.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it just? That's a really cool name too, Freedom Cell.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you know
Anyone.
it, Justin Trudeau will be calling it a terrorist cell.
Oh, of course, because he likes to change definitions of things, because that's the name
Um,
Trudeau.
a misogynist cell.
That's how the
Yeah,
party.
there's a really
This is
cool
amazing.
trailer. You can watch it on your own time site. There's a little trailer. It's about a minute and a half long, and it just kind of briefly goes over of what a freedom cell is, the idea behind it. I think it's a super
This is
powerful
fantastic.
idea.
I don't know anyone in Canada that knows about this, so I am looking
Yeah,
forward to exploding it to everyone
yeah.
that I know
Yeah,
who can explode it further.
yeah.
So this is great. Thank you, Garrett.
There should be
Yeah,
And
location.
it's based on food and alternative, a parallel economy, right? It's based on food security and parallel economy. I get what looks of it.
Mhm. Yeah,
wow. It's
yeah. They've
organized
got what's
too.
called an exit and build summit that they've been holding, and they've been getting people to go to that, and they've been holding it in Mexico and in Texas primarily. Those are the two places they primarily hold the summit.
Okay, so you have to log in. You have to become a member. You can create an account. Okay. So that's how you get access to
Yeah.
the information. You need to create a local account with them to
Oh,
get more information from them.
oh, you can't find locations.
Is it
What do you mean you can't find a location?
I think it's like meant to be confidential.
What I meant, like on the site.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. You have to log in and create an account before you do any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So it sounds very interesting. I will watch the I watch a video of that a little bit later on after this. So that's interesting. So
Yeah,
you've
I think
got
it's a really good thing what they're doing.
yeah, so they have a network. They've been building a network, and they've got so they've got the user dashboard here, and then they've got their cell directory. So there are other groups, and then there's on in website messaging. So they have their own messaging system. They have a forum system. They have an event system. Okay, so this is basically similar software that I was using, which is basically a social media app. You can design it to look just like Facebook, but it's the same principle software because they've got internal messaging and they've got the forum, the internal messaging and the forum, and a directory would be considered. We would just call them groups. So yeah, cool. Okay, so that would be based on that sort of internet thing, internet technology. That's pretty cool. All right, we'll check that out. Check that out. So you're going to develop one over there in Alaska?
Yeah, I was considering starting one up here, so I have not yet, but I kind of with this group, I think I want to start one, and then because we're such a large state that we're so far apart from each other, like the main city of Anchorage is about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive from here, and we're really spread out. So ideally, we would have a Freedom Cell network in Anchorage or maybe here on the Kenai Peninsula. So if nobody else is going to do it, then I may just try and just start one here on the peninsula.
Can I ask a question? How American is Alaska? Is it more Canadian or is it very American?
No, well, we are the 49th state in the United States, right? So yeah, and when we call the United States, we refer to it as the states, or some people say outside, because we're kind of a lone kind of state up here. We're right next door to Canada, and the only way to get here is either fly or drive the Alcan, which is the Alaska Canadian Highway. It's a long drive, and we kind of like it that way, So we kind of being a little bit isolated in a sense from all the craziness that's going on in the States.
Yeah, so you get to be American without all the woke rubbish going on.
Yeah.
Although there, yeah.
No, that's
you get to continue to listen to Michelle Shock.
You said
you get to continue listening to Michelle Shock. You know Michelle Shock? She sang that song, you're in the largest state of the union when you're anchored down in Anchorage.
Oh, yeah.
That's
okay, I have heard that song. Okay, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, the 90s, basically. The 90s. You're still living in the 90s, essentially. You can live in the 90s. Yeah, because I'm like, even in Vietnam, I'm still basically living in the 90s. I guess late 80s, early 90s. And I like it that way. I'm a time traveler, That's anytime society gets far too advanced for me, I run away. I run back in time. I don't like to grow very much. Look at Tarzan here. He's gone back to the jungle.
Go by that, okay? If I go by the time travel wise, the KTV, the karaoke here, I would say I live in the 80s or 60s or 80s even. Elvis and Michael Jackson and Celine Dion and stuff. Yeah, still you can hear it so yeah, time travel.
Yeah, I've got my KTV system. One speaker in the corner there, one Siberian Husky there, and a speaker, and then the two microphones over there, and then the monitor over here. So that's my KTV system already sorted.
Yeah.
So you guys still use coins. You have coin operated KTVs. You stick a
most places. Yeah, so because they want to cash in, so if you have like a little corner shop, you put a little KTV there, and then you can cash in. Yeah, people will go put some coins, and yeah, song or two, yeah, uh, all over the place.
What part of the
I've spent
Philippines?
many a coin.
Can
What's
I
that,
ask what
Garrett?
part of the Philippines
So,
are you in, Tarzan?
very southern Philippines, quite close to Indonesia, actually. Mindanao. It's one of the biggest islands
Oh, Mindanao.
at the near Davao City. If you know, nearby Davao. I'm about hours drive from Davao City. So, but yeah, it's quite
Yeah, that's where
cuisine wise and
Duterte
climate
is
wise.
from.
Exactly. Yes, Duterte. Yes. He's got all his clan is still ruling the whole. So he's got Davao City is now run by his son. His daughter is the vice president. Okay, he's kind of on the backstage at the moment, but like he's running the whole show still. But yeah, I mean, I'm
The puppet master. Dirty to dirty.
exactly. But the thing, I mean,
I've
we're
been
a
to the
little bit off topic
Philippines.
now. We're talking about local politics here, but the bad stuff.
No, they don't want you to say that. Duterte doesn't want you to expose the truth.
What were you gonna ask, Garrett?
Yeah, but
Oh, I
Duterte
said
had
I've
very
been to
tight
the.
control because he would, the criminals, he would just basically kill the criminals. So all the criminals were scared. But now with Marcos, the criminals are getting bolder again. And so it's a lot of crime is on. Yeah, so it's not a good development. People like Duterte more than Marcos, I guess.
I was in a bus. We were heading up to San Francisco. I don't know if you were with me. Maybe you weren't. But anyway,
Yeah,
maybe you were with
Agustan,
me.
Agustan,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you were with me that time, but we're in the bus heading up to San Francisco, and we just pulled into a rest stop, the bus rest stop. We were on a bus, and we didn't hire a car that time. We were on a bus, and then we were just at the tail end of a shooting, where I think it was one of those death squads for drug dealers. We're just at the tail end of the shooting, like really fresh. We just missed it by 20 seconds, and the guy ran off, and we were all like, "Ooh, what's going on here?" And we're shooting. I actually heard the gun. And we
Yeah,
just kind of missed it because we just got it at the tail end of it. So
right.
and all the Filipinos are just like, normal, very
Business as
normal.
usual.
Yeah. Garrett was going to ask a question. What were you going to say, Garrett?
I was going to ask Tarzan if he's ever been to. There was a really cool place I went to in Luzon, so the main island, but it's where everybody
Mm.
goes to get the wild strawberries up north in the mountainous region.
Baguio, maybe you
Yeah.
mean Baguio, yeah. Yeah, it's I've never been there actually. I've Luzon. I've always traveled through. I've always been mainly here down in Mindanao. But believe it or not, I grow strawberries here. I actually at the moment. I started with 2 plants. I got one of my neighbors. They actually have a strawberry farm. She gave me 2 plants. I think I have about 20 plants now because strawberries. They grow like bananas, basically, like weed. Yeah. First strawberry, only a small one a few weeks ago. So it's possible because we are relatively high up. Our elevation is 457 meters. So it's quite cool here, nighttime. And it's very, yeah, like in the city, we get the winds and we get yeah, strawberries grow here. But but Baguio is a bit cooler than here.
Yeah. Being from Alaska, the coolness, it was nice when I was down in the Philippines and I went to Baguio. That coolness was definitely nice because otherwise
Yeah.
I was always looking for aircon, man, anywhere I went.
Yeah, yeah. Because in the mountains, for us, we don't have air gun. I do have some fans which I never use. At nighttime, sometimes I actually need to wear a jacket. It gets cold nighttime, like quite windy, and sometimes, usually, I would sleep with just with a sheet. But sometimes nighttime, you actually want to have a blanket. It gets a bit so it's nice. Yeah, air is not necessary. Daytime. sometimes it's a bit hot, but I guess yeah, it breeze, the wind, because we're just on a hilltop, so it's not too bad. Let's put it that way.
There's an aircon in my bedroom. That's the only aircon in the house. This room here, there's no aircon. There's not even any glass in the window.
Oh, wow.
Well, look at
And see
you,
that?
fancy, but you have electricity. You have proper electricity. 'Cause for me, everything is on solar. So let's say even as small as AC unit would be like maybe half horsepower. That would seriously mess with my system. You know, like so. Priorities are fridge, freezer, Wi-Fi, laptops, key TV system, and obviously phones and stuff. That's it. No, I wouldn't put like AC, but would definitely. I would need more batteries. Put it that way. At the moment, everything works, but I wouldn't plug something heavy in. You know, like rice cookers or some any other kind of even like some power tools. I would actually let them off generator rather than main solar system. Yeah. So far, it works. 2 years and counting.
You're in the you're married to a Filipina when your staple is a KTV.
Yeah. That was one of the first. So first thing was toilet. She said, before we move to the jungle, we need to have a normal toilet. And second thing was the KTV system. Pretty much, yeah. But we're still building.
Oh, it's the same here. Everybody's got KTV everywhere around here. They've all got a KTV in their house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. 7 o'clock in the
And it's
morning,
loud.
people start singing. And like it's not like one household is singing, your neighbor is singing, and the other neighbor is singing. Then yeah, that time machine that we were talking, 1980s, 1970s, songs like that, again and again. But I don't know, gotta love it. I wanted, Garrett, I wanted to ask about so you have a very short growing season, but how do you preserve it, or what do you do? Do you like, I don't know, do you pickle the things, or how do you keep it for? So let's say you have season, you got all the stuff coming in. So what do you do with it?
Yeah, so a lot of the people that preserve food here is through various methods. And for instance, salmon, that we catch wild salmon, we either smoke it, we can it, or we freeze it, right? With vegetables, we have a lot of root vegetables like carrots and potatoes and things like that keep pretty well. If you have a root cellar, or even in your garage or in your crawl space that's close to the ground and keeps cool. And then other people, they do pickle things. You can take your cabbage and you can pickle that, turn it into sauerkraut, or make your own kimchi, for example. So yeah, there's, I think, all those traditional methods that we use up here. A lot, of course. I mean, in the wintertime, as long as it stays cold, if you go like further up north, like in Fairbanks, which is further, it's a lot colder in the wintertime, you could actually just leave your stuff on the porch and it'll just freeze.
Yeah, and even exactly.
It's outside refrigerator, freezer.
Yeah, for us it's too hot for us. So, but I'm actually just now almost done. I dug a big hole under inside the house under my kitchen, and I'm still to put this concrete over it, to pour the concrete over. But it's actually quite, I think, because it will not get any direct sunlight, I think I will be able to store there like bananas and corn and some sweet potatoes, and at least a bit longer than it, just outside here, it's a bit too hot. Things go off very fast, but I hope that there's cellar, yeah, we could call it basement or cellar. I hope it will extend the
Like a
life of some
proper,
product.
proper root storage or root pantry. A nice pantry.
Yeah, because here is also when you get some crop is coming in, you have a lot. So it's like mostly people and the price variation as well. Like when it's season for the expensive things are. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the fruit. The most expensive fruit we have here is called durian. Are you familiar with this one? Durian. Yeah. It's a very smelly fruit. Most people don't like it, but it's very expensive. And so, but when it's season, it's very cheap. But when it's off season, it's super expensive. And time can go anything from 30 peso per kilo when it's season to like 200 peso when it's like maybe a month earlier or a month later. So That's the hence the storage. And same with like tomatoes and like anything. Depends if it's like if there is a lot or no. So the market price. Usually it's the farmers who suffer because the same example I was giving you earlier about the tomatoes. So I'm gonna give you US dollars. So $1 is 50 peso. So I bought so 10 kilos of dollar for 10 kilos of tomatoes for $1. Okay, is the price that farmer can sell to the market. Now, and I said it's not even worth for you going to the market for this. So the neighbor I got all. I said I'll pay you. I paid him double. So basically, I got 5 kilos for $1 of tomatoes. Nice organic local tomatoes. So now I'm here, like I'm trying to sun dry some of them, and some of them I canned, made some tomato juice even first time ever tomato juice. But that's waste of effort. Took me whole day, probably for 15 kilos of tomatoes. I think I got probably 2 liters, maybe less than 2 liters of tomato juice. So it's not worth it. I realized it's better but yes, like some tomato sauce things for like pastas and stuff like that. Anyway, so this root cellar
Like
is
all
almost
pizza.
done. Yeah, for pizza, exactly pizza sauce like this because I cooked. I added some of it. I just added salt, but some of them I put like garlic, onion, some other like basil. I got like unlimited supply of local basil here as well. Just blended some of it and just normal canning, yeah, as you would. Uh,
That's
But yeah, farmers are the ones who suffer basically, and then they have to go to the city to buy some, I don't know, oil or sugar or rice, but they cannot grow here and add the transport, and they are the ones who are losing. So it's best for us to keep it local. Everyone gets from everyone nearby, and everyone wins. Like with yeah, we have some local. Yeah,
do you do the
go.
veggie exchange? Like, because
Not
there's
exactly. Could
like,
do. We could theoretically do. We
yeah, you have
could
a
have
friend who
something like.
strawberries. She's got strawberries. So she's got
Mm.
strawberries, and then another neighbor has this. Like, do you guys get together and just exchange straightforward goods, like vegetables straight out of your garden? Like, I've
It
got
would be
onions.
possible. It would be
Yeah,
possible, but usually they get, it's still money. There is still money between, so that it's just different price. It's not the market price, but in some ways it keep it simpler. Like
yeah,
we have some cooperatives as well here. Like for example, if someone kills a pig, but so like everyone pays in, and then someone kills a pig or a cow, everyone gets a portion of it. Next
yeah,
month, so there are some initiatives, but overall there is still even personally myself as well. It's easier to keep the money as a medium, so you have some idea what's happening. But a lot of stuff is just given for free. If people have
yeah,
like you have so much. Like even for me, I had this another exotic fruit called meringue. I don't know if you know. It's very big. Looks like jackfruit, little bit similar to jackfruit, but it's more juicy and more sweet. It's not so fleshy. Yeah. Anyway, I had probably about 300 kilos of this, which I couldn't even climb up the tree and get it all. So I was as well. Anyone who was walking past, I was like, just take one, take it back to the city with you, wherever. Not that we get much traffic, but sometimes you get some random people walking by, maybe a few times a day, put it that way. But yeah, there is a lot of stuff given free. A lot of, I guess there could be exchange, but you would still need to have some kind of a unit. Like so, 1 kilo of strawberries is that gonna equal like 5 kilos of bananas, or how you're gonna? So it's like just like yeah, we just put some number on it, which is like probably half price than it would be at the market. Yeah, but a lot of stuff is a lot of
there's
stuff
a
is being
friend,
exchanged overall, I would say.
somebody I'm friends with now in New Zealand. She says she lives kind of like in the bush area. But she's got blueberries, she's got kiwi fruit, but her neighbors have strawberries and they have this. And so on the weekends they get together and they just exchange. So and someone else has eggs, so they bring the excess that they have and then they just do a trade with neighbors. And then everybody gets to go home with what they need, having traded what with what they had of excess. So I thought that was really great when she told me that. like a really nice way.
Agenda 2030 will stop
Yeah,
that.
because you don't need the money at all. You don't need the money. You can cut off the middleman. Put it that way. Unnecessary. Yeah. Overall, yes.
I thought that was great. You know.
Yeah, with Agenda 2030, they're trying to stop that. A few years ago, that came up. They're trying to stop neighbors from swapping. That's how sick they are.
Yeah, my
You got
parents.
to get it from an approved source, which will
Yeah. The
be
bar.
a corporation.
So yeah, but that's the whole
Just
point
like
of setting up these
it's
networks.
useless.
Exactly, Garrett. Yeah, that's the whole
Yep.
point.
Go. Wait. I didn't hear Garrett. Could you repeat that, buddy?
No, I was just saying that that's the whole point why we need to set up these networks, like the Freedom Cells, for example, so that no matter what they say that they're going to push through their corporate media, platforms and their corporate entities, such as the big box store chains, things like that, we can still operate outside of that. We don't
Yeah.
have to necessarily, because I mean, they can't push everybody into it, and a lot of it's going to be first by convenience, because it's going to be convenient to just use a digital currency, and it's going to be convenient to download this app. It's going to be convenient to just go do that. We're going to have to stop going by the convenience of it all, because that's what's going to lead to that program that they want everybody on. The social
Yeah.
what do you call it, social tracking and everything else.
Yep. 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
Don't want to be in the
The
cities.
taxation. It's about control and taxation as well. Because if you don't use the money as a medium, obviously they can't tax you in any way, so they can't get their little cut. And they try to come up with all kinds of regulations, like why, and it's not safe, and it's But to think here, nobody would listen. No one cares. It's just for us, the money is just like a number. Sometimes the physical money doesn't even exchange hand, but it's just like, okay, I owe you 100 for this corn. Okay, next time like this. So it's just like a number, but not like physical money. It doesn't have the same value as it would in a city when you go to a corner store and buy something and physically give it. Very different, yeah. But the digital, yeah, Gareth, 100%. It's very dangerous. Because like, look at China, Jason. We lived in China for a while. There is an app, whatever it's called, WeChat. They only have digital money. They've been using it for past probably 10 years, I would say. And yeah, you don't even need to have cash. You could just do everything. Go there and QR code and beep beep beep. That's been going on. That's been tested and it works.
Scan your face. They scan your face, right? You just look at
That's a new one.
scan
Yeah.
your face,
Yeah.
and then you get, that's the social credit system that they want to implement in all these other countries.
Right.
So.
And it's been tested out in China, and it's been working for years. So if they can do this in the most populous country, it's probably the same model can be used pretty much anywhere. Yeah, that's the scary part.
Well,
But,
they're starting to test the waters here in Canada. They've got a survey out for the public to give us your input. How would you feel if the Bank of Canada, we rolled out a Canadian digital currency? How would you feel? And I filled out the survey, and the way they question things, it was all about convenience and, oh, you can trust us. And how do you feel about this? Do you agree? Do you strongly agree? Do you disagree? Or you don't know? But the way they worded the questions, I was disgusted, because the way it was just like, oh yeah, no, this is great, you guys, this is fantastic. It's going to be so convenient. It's going to be safe. You can trust us. We'll keep your information secure. And it was just fill out this questionnaire. How do you feel? What if your life was easier? And I filled it out just saying no, we need to keep our cash. And that was it. That was my incentive. It was 25 questions, and I filled them all out with the directive of let's keep our cash in our system. But it was just the way the questions were twisted to make it sound like it was the greatest thing, and you'll basically live like kings because it's going to be you're going to have so much time with your family because you won't have to go and do all this. And it was seriously twisted the way that.
Keep in mind though, it's still, cash is still fiat, and fiat currency does not last that long. So as history shows, fiat itself won't last that long. And as we can see with the BRICS nations and what they're doing, the U.S. dollar is not going to be that much sovereign anymore if it's not going to be pegged to the oil and the BRICS nations start trading in yuan or some other type of basket of currencies. So yeah, even if it's fiat, even if it's cash, it's something that we need to kind of start thinking about operating at a different level. And I'm actually a fan of cryptocurrencies, even though it's a digital form. The original intent of what cryptocurrencies were to bypass the banking industry itself, so that I could exchange goods, or I can exchange information or whatever with Tarzan in the Philippines, Jason over there we're in Vietnam, whoever, right? And we don't have to have that intermediary, and it's a trustless system because it's based on technology. And it's interesting when you see the devaluation of currency, fiat currency, in places like Argentina. I think that was one of the countries, or Ecuador.
Ecuador.
Ecuador, yeah.
They actually
They just
moved.
dismissed their government. Yeah.
They moved they started moving their wealth into Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they saw that there was a lot of people around the world that were actually starting to move their wealth and trying to store it somehow, because you got precious
Oh,
metals.
that was Brazil. That was Brazil. Brazil moved they moved a lot of wealth into Bitcoin, but Ecuador went into something like 75% hyperinflation, and they just dissolved the government just like a few days ago.
I'm speaking about a few years back, but Ecuador actually did. They were starting to put their money into Ethereum and Bitcoin. I think Ethereum was one of the main ones, but that was a few years ago.
The Bitcoin was like a national currency, accepted, how to say, form of payment, like how to say, sanctioned by the government in that way. So you could basically use Bitcoin as of, instead of your whatever the unit they had, the local money. But yeah, definitely. But the problem is some of these bigger ones, especially the Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have also been corrupted by the big corporations and stuff. So they are not exactly the ones that we call privacy coins. There are few like smaller, like Monero is a very good one, 100% like safe. There are some, but I think Bitcoin it's one of these most well-known ones. But it's probably like some big banks or who are big governments who are basically running the what's happening with it, and they just wanna make it into another, basically into a digital currency. Take it over basically. Yeah, but the idea is the cryptocurrencies overall. That should be the future.
Yeah, anything they can't control, they have to control it. So yeah, they'll get in there. Meanwhile,
Personally,
printing money.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said, meanwhile, Trudeau is just printing money.
Yeah.
He's just printing it and printing it and printing it, and he's just. And our
personally, Bitcoin. I don't find Bitcoin very productive personally, in terms of spending it, because the gas fees are exuberant. If you're going to send $5 of Bitcoin, you're going to end up paying $25 for gas fees. So Ethereum, not much better. But the best one that I've found was Dash. Dash is like cents, decimals of a cent. Very cheap Dash. Dash is really overlooked. I mean, it's not really an investment. It kind of doesn't really move. But it's not a stable coin either. But if you're gonna shop around, then you use Dash, because the fees are almost nothing. Nothing. I mean, I only use Dash if I'm going from platform to platform, or I'm purchasing. Like there was a while there, I was experimenting with Bitcoin and Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, cryptocurrency and marketing, and some marketing programs. We're running some examples of programs and marketing, and we're using these crypto websites where you play games and you earn crypto, or you do these activities online and you earn crypto, and you just the same way that you play a role-playing game, but you do actually get rewarded with crypto. You can do all these tasks like you watch ads, all that kind of stuff, anything for attention gaining platforms where you would normally have to work and look at them, because these advertising companies, they sell attention. They sell it's a commodity. So the people aren't actually interested in the product, but occasionally people do. They look at these ads and they're like, oh, I like that, and so they'll join the program. So they have this attention-based marketing, right? And they reward you for sitting there looking at ads, watching videos, anything to do, and they take that data, those statistics, and they sell it back to the client, and then they get the advertising from it. You see, so it's not organic. The sort of attention-based marketing. It's not organic at all, and it's sort of corrupt because the customer doesn't really get an organic response to his product. They just get a generic, and generic response, which is attention based, and people are actually watching it because they're gaining a reward, which is a cryptocurrency. Essentially, that's how to do it. And so Dash is number one. I mean, I've still got probably a half dozen. I don't have any Bitcoin. I've never had any Bitcoin. I started off thinking like, yay, Bitcoin, woo! 2017, I was like, Bitcoin, woo! I think it was like, I don't know, $30 or something, and then we went up to 1,300, and then it's, oh my God, sky high. But you got to think about, let's get dark on this. Let's get dark on Bitcoin. Let's go to the dark net, right? All those creeps, all those human traffickers, and all those people that are murdering children, people like those elites, right? They're getting paid. They were paid in Bitcoin back in the day when it was dirt cheap. Now, what happened? They just got super duper wealthy when Bitcoin went to 60 million, 60,000, right? So that's the dark side of something like Bitcoin, because it was well popular in the dark net, the deep net. They call it the deep net or the dark net, something like that.
Dark net.
And there are stories of people who actually jumped into the dark net, the deep net, to find it, and they found horrible places of satanic ceremonies and rituals, and rich people paying Bitcoin to watch children being tortured and stuff like that. So that's the dark side of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so you're empowering this underworld gang, and back in the days when it was used as a private sort of transaction, although you can still track it, but and it was dirt cheap. But the worst criminals just became billionaires when it hit 60 million. So I don't know. I just like I don't like the idea of an investment. I just think something that's functional and cheap and has value.
Can I just say how much fun Garrett's having? He's got like a regular party going. Hey, Garrett.
It's a coffee party.
Yeah. See, yeah. Hey. Myself on mute so I didn't interrupt your conversation. So, because our group here right now, it's almost 7:30 at night, and so most people are getting hungry and they're wanting to go probably get some food, and we still have daylight out though. We still have daylight out, which is pretty cool about living in the northern areas. That we got daylight till about 11 o'clock now. I think 11 p.m. or so, 10:30, 11. And then, at the peak, it'll pretty much be light until midnight, 1 a.m. Bye, guys.
That's right.
Nice, yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Long summer days.
Land of the midnight. Lucky.
I still think Bitcoin was created by the government, by one of these secret departments. I still think.
So Satoshi Nakamoto, you think was a government
Japanese.
fabricated or a CIA maybe or intelligence psyop?
Social engineering, and to normalize the CBDs. Yeah, personally speaking. But of course, I do see the practicality of it. Like I was saying, something like Dash Coin, Monero. He was talking about privacy coins. I do see how they can benefit, but investment, anything that keeps growing and growing and growing and growing, because what is value? Value is perception. You only perceive value, and you're perceiving this value of even what with fiat currency. You only perceive it has value, therefore it has value. Okay, and it's supposed to pay. A fiat is just a receipt for gold, essentially. But they just stopped.
So,
they just hid the gold and just started using the paper instead.
So, Jason, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but there was legislation that was put through in Texas that they were going to try and use a digital currency that was backed by gold. So it would have been a gold-backed digital currency that they would actually have to be required to buy gold and to have that storing and to have that independently audited, so that in fact it did show that they had that store of gold to back up the value of the digital currency. Now that's another angle that people can do. And now, then you could have faith and trust that this medium of exchange, being a digital exchange, is back gold. or silver, something else.
Yeah. Sound familiar, Raul? Remember we used to talk about that?
Yeah, gold. I remember
Yeah.
we were chasing gold in mountains.
Yeah, we were humping around the mountains, but we were talking about that. Remember, we were talking about having a cryptocurrency that was pegged to gold.
Yeah, yeah, a long
Yeah,
time
we
ago.
talked about that. Oh, that was probably like 2014, something like that. It was almost 10 years ago. So, and some Saudis had come up with that idea already. Probably by 2015, 2016, they'd already some Saudis had already launched. I think it was just called Bitcoin. I think it was just called gold coin or something like that. It was called something
Well, I do
generic as
remember
gold.
back in the early 2000s when we had e-gold, and that was a way that they're trying to use gold in a sense to in a digital form and to exchange. But e-gold eventually gave way to PayPal, I believe, and then PayPal kind of took off. But there were little things here and there, that were people were trying to make a digital kind of form of exchange with gold.
Yeah, and there is old businesses where they have small cards. They have very small cards, and they have like gold plated, and you can collect them and you can trade them and you can use them in well. The idea was that you collect them if you couldn't afford a gold bar, you have it's like a plastic credit card, just like a cellular phone SIM card. Just looks like a SIM card, but it's gold plated, or has the smallest amount of gold on it, and you can collect them, and it's a poor man's way of collecting gold,
I just
and then they have it on a multi-level marketing system, and whoever at the top makes the money.
I just rewatched the
The
John Wick movie
visibility.
with their big briefcases of gold coins, and that's how they traded was with gold coins among each other. Anyway.
Oh, is that what he uses? Is that what he gives over whenever he wants a? Is that a gold coin? Is it? Because I've never seen any John Wick movies, but I've seen all the
Yep.
trailers, and I've watched The Drinker. I like The Drinker. I mean, I like his critical reviews of films, and so
Critical drink.
I like film critics. Yeah, the
Yeah,
critical drinker. He's the dude. That guy.
they all
Yeah.
use gold coins, exchange gold coins. That's how they do their business. But hey, what happened to Tarzan?
He probably got a bad connection, or his wife called him to do something. Okay, so here we go. Someone, Lyra the Lion says, no, it's decentralized. Wow, I hadn't heard that. Decentralized. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, the whole idea of decentralization, DeFi, and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's all a Ponzi scheme. At the end of it, no matter how you look at it, the financial system is basically your perception, what you perceive to be valuable. If you think that a credit card has value, and your digital number crunching has value, then it has value. If you think that gold even is valuable, why is gold valuable? Because it's what do they say? It's non-fungible, or something like that. It's a reserve of wealth. It doesn't age. It doesn't grow old. It doesn't mold. It doesn't deteriorate. It stays in its pure form. It's rare, scarcity. It's scarce, so it maintains its value. And you can only manipulate the gold on the markets, right? You can leverage gold on the markets. So you can take $100 and you can leverage it 10 times, pay 1,000, and you get 1,000 in credit. And that's how the market works. So the gold markets, international gold markets, they're a complete Ponzi scheme, because you're over leveraging. Hypothecation, they call it. They over leverage, right? So and it doesn't reflect any form of reality. And then that sets the gold price, and that's why the gold price is so low at the end of the day, because the whales, they can manipulate the market. Gold should be a lot more valuable than what it is now, because of the fact of the scarcity, based on scarcity. And the reason that they brought in cash dollars is because it was a receipt, because gold was beginning to be too heavy. Well, back in the days, in the days of knights, the Middle Ages, they used gold and silver, coins, proper gold, proper coins.
Yeah.
You know, but imagine you've just robbed a bank. You've just robbed a bank, and you got this great big sack, and you can't be carrying that around every time you go to the pub. You know, and it's hard to hide. So you take it to the post office, which became the bank because they have a safe. You stick it in there, and they gave you the receipts for it. So you went down to the store, and you wrote out the amount of gold that you'd pay. You know, a fifth of whatever, an ounce or something like that. You know. Jody PH, hey guys, the chat crashed just following here. Wi-Fi issues, was amazing to chat with you all. Tarzan. Oh, okay, right. So they're using their wife's phone now. So he was on I don't know. Anyway, he has left us. Tarzan has left the jungle.
Oh no.
So, but yeah. I mean, so it's all perception of value at the end of the day. So Bitcoin, any coin, monkey coin, it's perception. It's all perception of value. You know, proof of work, proof of stake. It's perception. You use energy,
We
but
need to get
what
back.
do? You dig a hole and you get a piece of gold, which is rare, and so therefore it
Yeah,
has its value.
if you're starving, you can't eat it. I mean, you could eat it, but it's not going to
Exactly.
nourish you. So we got to get back to
Yeah, tradable.
goods and
Yeah,
services. Get back
that's
to
right. That's right. And
the old farmers market. Go back to the good old seed exchange. Neighbors helping neighbors, building community, and just getting back to the basics. You know.
yeah, and going on to what we were talking about, like you were saying that, and Raul was mentioning, well, Tarzan was mentioning having a middle format, like, you know, cash, right? So the thing is, like, you got a chicken and you want a leg of a cow, okay, but nobody else wants a part of the cow, but you want a leg of the cow, so you have to kill the cow and take the leg and give them the chicken, you know, or you take a foot or something and then you give them the chicken. So that's not very practical,
No, it's not.
you know, unless you have a co-op, of course. But that's on a just a, you know, it's not a true to life thing. It would never happen like that. But just as the example of why they started to use any form of currency, like a fiat currency, because it was, you could break it down into small amounts, right? You break it down to small amounts, so therefore you could start having fair trading. You know, it's unfair to kill a cow just because you want a piece of meat, and the guy gives you an entire chicken in exchange of it. You know, so it just didn't make any logical sense. So the whole idea is, okay, first we go for the gold and the silver, and then in volume it's too heavy, so it's much more convenient to store it in a bank and then use these paper receipts.
Yeah.
And that's what the entire financial system should be based on. Our dollars, any dollar, is just a receipt for the gold that's in the vault. That's it. But after they took him off the system, who did that? Wilson or somebody took him off the system in 1960s or something like that. They went off that gold-backed system. They stole all the gold, hid that in their own coffers, and then they just started throwing paper around.
Legal tender.
Yeah, legal tender, which is, and the Federal Reserve is no more federal than my foot.
Yeah, I've heard there's no more gold in Fort Knox. So.
No, there's no more gold. They moved it already. You hit it in a tunnel somewhere.
Stay connected. The idea with this is to get people active. Yeah. Sorry, I think I might be interrupting you guys. I pushed a mute button. I pushed the unmute button. But somebody was just talking to me about this book that she had shared with a gardener at a local ranch, and using electroculture, kind of like permaculture, but it's called electroculture. And Rosie, apparently you're familiar with this. I've never heard of it. So I don't know if you want to stand in here and kind of say hi. But this is Pam. She's actually originally from South Africa, and she was talking about this method that used in the 1920s in other countries, that you set up antenna, set it with a true magnetic south, run a line, some sort of braided wire, and then you run it underground, and it's supposed to enhance the plant's growth. Heard of this?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This for the first time yesterday. Somebody said, and their vegetables are just exploding. They live in Ontario.
Yeah.
And the tomatoes are exploding. And she said that she's not using copper wire, but she's got wire, and she's like, look up electroculture. So twice in 2 days. Okay, go on. You have the floor. I'm listening.
I'm new to it, so I just got a book on it, but I've read the book out in commercial farming, so that if they're interested in it, I want to apply it to my own. I've got a small orchard, and I grow permaculture kind of every year here in Alaska. I'm going to do an experiment, really long pole. They say the higher it is, the better. And then 14 feet on either side of the wire becomes activated first year, and then the magnetic energy spreads. And so
Yeah.
then you don't have to use fertilizer or pesticides, and then the crops apparently are just the production is that much better.
The it like rebuilds the soil and it
Yes.
stimulates the roots. That's what I
Yeah.
heard yesterday. That's fantastic.
Well,
No, that's
they always,
good for
they
you.
always say if you hearing something again, there's something. So I'll pop with Garrett on it, and he can let you know. And so nice to meet you.
Sounds
I've got to get
fantastic.
home. All the best.
All right.
Bye.
All the best. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's also common. I learned about that technology when I was investigating cloud busting. So it's also associated with cloud busting for geoengineering cloud busting. So it's also one of the ways. But yeah, that's how I found out about it when I was researching cloud busting. And so yeah, it's a thing. It's really a thing. And I was like, what's all this stuff? So I did a bit of a deep dive and watched a whole bunch of videos on YouTube about it. And like, yep, sure enough.
Well,
Yep, sure enough, it's a thing.
we've got a lot of geoengineering going on in the cloud. You know, they're spraying the skies like crazy here in Alaska, and then they're bringing 5G in all over. So we need to be aware of that and do something about it.
Counter it somehow.
Yeah, we refused 5G here. They wanted to install 5G here.
They put a tower literally behind my
I'm sorry to hear that, but we drove through Anchorage, and it's just you just see the towers everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's
I've noticed
we're all
too, since I got
none of
home,
us have,
I'm a lot more tired. Like it's definitely affected my physical health and my physical strength just having it behind my parents' house.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, once again, hubby's waiting. Lovely you. Take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Nice meeting
Nice to
you.
see you. Take care.
Yeah, so that was Pam, one of our
And
local folks here.
fantastic. Fantastic, Garrett. Garrett, do you use any other? Well, you can send it to me in email, but do you use other types of social media? Like, do you have a Telegram account? Do you?
Yeah, so our
Well, obviously you
Telegram,
do. So
our Telegram channel is primarily for just kind of our local group here, but we do have it's a Liberty Action AK Telegram group. It's
Liberty Action
primarily
AK
for
on
just for
Telegram. Let
us
me have a look.
communicating about what's going on locally. I don't have any kind of like media presence or anything like that. Done that. Perhaps I will in the future. But for now, just keeping everything local is really important. Community here. You know, that's kind of primarily what I'm trying to focus.
Okay, so I'm on Telegram now. I'm looking at there is one of those masks, and it's Liberty Action AK.
That's the one. That's
and at Liberty.
Yeah, that's the Guy Fawkes
Is that a
mask.
group or is that you?
That's
That's
us.
right, the Guy Fawkes mask.
It's a group. It's a group of us. So we all share a lot of information with each other. There's tons of information to be shared. But yeah, we try just to kind of stay in communication with each other with that site.
That's
And
important.
yeah, I do have an spam bot that you have to kind of jump through a couple of hoops, I think, to join the group, because I was getting spam in the group for like this stupid stuff. So I set up a bot. So that means you have to like answer a simple questions. Shows that you're human.
No, not him.
Thank you once again, brothers and sisters. Well, no, your anti-spam bot is very kind because it allowed me to join.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty simple.
It's very good.
Okay.
Yep, you've now got an additional member. I'm called Cybers Coin, and you'll see that my
I got that. Yeah.
my profile pic is NZ Truckers Convoy 2022 Freedom New Zealand Truckers
Nice,
Convoy.
nice.
Yeah, but my name on Telegram is Cybers Coin. Cyber is my husky. He's gone. Cyber is my Siberian husky.
Well, I'm gonna keep in
All right,
touch, Jason.
yes,
I would like, I think we're gonna I'm gonna get off here. It's almost 2 hours that I've been on the live stream here, and I kind of
yeah,
lost a few of
it's
the
been
folks that
awesome.
were here earlier, and I gotta kind of get back to what's going on here, and really appreciate your time. And like I said, I want to stay in contact and just to stay in touch.
Yes, yes. When you see me in your group, you can send me a private message, and then we can add each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that.
Awesome. All right. Take care. Thank you so much, Garrett. Thank you, Alaska. Thank you to everybody out there. They probably can't hear me, but thank you to everybody. And I'm sorry to hold it to Garrett up, keep him away from the book party. Luckily, it's not a book burning party. And yeah, we'll wrap this live stream up as well. So now we've got between three flags. So we've got the between three flags now. So we've got the Kiwi, the American, the Alaskan. Yeah, I mean it's kind of like stuck in the middle, isn't it? Really?
There's a Mexican flag up there too, so I'm like all over the place.
Oh my God, between four flags.
Yeah, I'm in my dad's room.
And before you know it, we'll be at Six Flags Holiday Park.
Sorry.
Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up, eh? How's that?
Are you still gonna play any other videos, kind of just to fill the time, or you're pretty much done?
No, I am done. This was my very last interview. That was it, and it was the longest interview. But we had, and it was the biggest because we had 4 people in there, so it was kind of fun. The smallest crowd, but this system, I don't like this restream because it doesn't create a bookmark up and coming notification of a video, so it just comes out of nowhere when you go live. StreamYard is much better because it gives you a bookmark up and coming video holding placeholder on the YouTube channel, so people don't even know that it's on. So
what time is it?
And then right now it's 10:42 in the morning. I have been at it. I did sleep for an hour earlier on today, so I've had an hour and 10 minutes sleep since 6:30 a.m. yesterday, and it's now 10:42 a.m. So there you go. That's what I do. 28 hours, I guess that is 28 hours.
Oh, you were going for 30.
Rock and roll.
What's another 2 hours? I'm just kidding.
No, you can do it. How about you? How about you do it? I'll leave, and you can carry on and hit my 30 for me.
Excited about the James Tobb interview getting played, but it's okay. We can do that another time. Because
I never actually played it. In the end, I ended up playing that other one.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You were like, oh, you kind of built it up, and then you're like, oh, let's listen to some music. And so I was like, okay, he's gonna play it in the last segment. Yeah. You know, but, not the last. We're trying to play the last segment, and you're trying to jip me.
I played Tom McDonald instead.
You're going a fast one on me, Jason. I don't know, Robert.
Yeah, I was kind of like over it. Was like I was thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play this. Like, wait a minute, it's 30 minutes long. Yeah. Nah, I just wanted to do a music and then end the stream and then hey, that was it for me. Game over, Rover. All right, so let's clean up. Let's check our comments first before we go. The ladies have been patiently. The ladies and gentlemen have been patiently listening quietly, although they've been chatting to each other. Thank you. But yeah, it's been a very intensive conversation this time. So who's been here? Let me go to the top. Rosie, you've been here. What a surprise!
Yeah, you sent me the link, and then I said I was here, and then I popped in backstage, and so I've been here the whole. Well, I came in like 19 minutes in. You were already live for 19 minutes when you sent me that.
So we got Owen Bass back again from Tauranga,
Yeah, from Jeff.
back again, and then we've got me, Jeff. Oh, so that's Jeff. Okay, me, Jeff. Oh, so me, Tarzan, you, Jeff. Lyra the Lion's back. Hi, everybody. And Lyra the Lion. Cheryl Anderson. Cheryl Anderson from The Matrix. Mr. Anderson's sister. The aura of people from The Matrix.
Yeah, you're definitely showing your tiredness. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I've started to get comical. I do that when I get tired. I get all quirky.
I got that.
And that's been it, has it? Joe. Oh, that was actually Raoul's lady. That's actually Raoul's lady. I'm not going to put that up on the video. Jeff. How many Jeffs do we got? Hang on.
No.
Are there 2 Jeffs?
Does he have 2 profiles? I don't know. Because I know that Owen Bass, or yeah, that's Jeff, the one Jeff that I know. But
no, there's 2 Jeffs. We have 2 Jeffs.
Maybe he's got 2 Google accounts.
Oh, he just edited profile. Okay, duh. I'm completely looking at it.
All right.
Just edited profile. So we only have 1 Jeff. Gotcha, Jeff. We only got 1 Jeff.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of rain. Yeah, they've got a lot of troubles headed for them. Speaking of food shortages, yeah, they've got so much rain happening right now that the kiwi fruits are rotting. They're ripening too fast. They're rotting on the trees. So not enough that the cyclone like wiped out 90% of their food supply, but now they're getting they've got a lot of tough times in New Zealand, and my heart goes out to you guys because it's
because they've got to eat the bugs.
Oh yeah,
that's what they have to do. So they must eat the bugs, and I will eat the steak, and they will eat the bugs. That's why it's in the Matrix. It's not a real steak.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you know what? We've got a big resource of interviewees through the We Are Ready group now.
Okay.
We have unlimited supply of interviews for our 2 shows now. So I think we'll just kind of keep doing this, but not like a marathon every weekend. No. But we've got a really interesting bunch of people.
Yeah. Well, Between Two Flags doesn't have to be New Zealand and Canada, because Jason's in Vietnam, and so Between Two Flags is just any 2 flags. We won't discriminate. So let's set up some interviews and have some amazing people on, because now that
it would be Canada and New Zealand.
Canada and New Zealand eating the bugs.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Heil, New Zealand.
The United States. But
Heiland.
Die neue Zeitland und Canada.
Heil Hipkin. That works better. Heil Hipkin. There you go. That works perfectly. 2 vowels.
You're definitely tired. But people eat.
I'm out of here.
And the bugs are. And the bugs will eat us when we die. And then we are part of the greater circle of life. Oh, and you will own nothing, and you will be happy. And we will scoot around in our fancy cars and fly all around the world and laugh at you all from the plane, all you plebs.
Well, you live in your 15-minute city, and you'll be renting my drone. Right, we are getting out of order here now. But this is the marathon. We Are Ready worldwide live stream. Actually, it's part 6, not part 5. I got to change the title. It's part 6, and yeah, massive. How many hours today? Not as many as yesterday. Yesterday I did 13 hours. So today I've probably only done probably half of that. Yeah, only half of that.
So like 2 days of travel in Canada.
Roughly. So I've been to Ontario and back.
No, you've only crossed Ontario. It takes 2 days to cross
Okay.
Ontario if you're driving.
Okay. So I'm stuck on the side of the road
You're
because
basically
my battery car does not work because there's no sun.
yeah.
Okay, I'm leaving. I'm leaving before I embarrass myself any further. Okay, very cool. All right, the marathon is officially over. Someone said it was a marathon. I said, no, it's a telethon. I said, no, it's a telethon. He said it was a marathon. I didn't mention anything about a marathon. It's not a marathon. It's a
No,
telethon.
it's a marathon.
Yeah, not a marathon. It's a telethon.
Yeah. But
Yeah, talking Telegram. Yep. Okay, we're out of here. Ciao, ciao, everybody. I'm ending the stream. Oh, wait a minute. No, I can't end the stream. I've got to play the song.
and you have to like set up interviews. So we'll do interviews soon. And we'll just keep the momentum going. Definitely on more sleep. And thank you everyone for being here. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. And we'll see you guys real soon, okay? New Zealand,
Okay,
Nation. And Rosie Convoy.
I'm going to play the song.
Yeah, do it. I love that song. You've got a great
I'm going to get rid of this. I got to get rid of this. I got to, wait a minute. I'm sharing the wrong thing.
Of course you are.
I'm sharing the wrong thing.
You're tired.
Okay, share this tab instead. All right, I'm good to go. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. And this will be, I'm not even going to come back after the song is finished. I'm just going to end the stream, but we're going to play the song because it's the very last song of the marathon. Okay, so we are many, we are united,
we
are ready.
Ready.
Bye-bye. It didn't play.
Great sound effect. Pew, 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 pew. They can still hear us. I'm gonna mute my mic.
Here you go. I'm muting now. And then I'm leaving. Bye, Rosie, Judy.
I'm working and I'm
Bye, Jeff.
Will you dare to give it all?
Bye, Mrs. Anderson.
We're many, we're united, and we're ready. We'll see you on May 28th.
Bye, Jody, pretending to be Raoul. And bye, Josie.
Just getting me above now.
And bye, Lyra the Lion. Don't forget, hit the notification bell. Otherwise, you're not going to know that we're online. And we're going to do more of these.
Never before has the world been so aware of people and organizations trying to usher in a one-world government, where foreign billionaires control everything we do. We have a message for you power-hungry globalists. You overplayed your hand. We see you. We know your plans. And guess what?
We are many. We are united. We are ready. See you
on that weekend, the Bilderberg Club are meeting in Lisbon, Portugal for their annual meeting. So we are meeting too. Freedom lovers all over the world will come together in their own country or travel to Lisbon to send a clear message. We are many, we are united, and we are ready. This is unlike any other freedom event we've ever had. It's not a protest, it's a display of collective courage and strength. We are not begging to be heard anymore. We don't care what their plans are because we are ready. In just 3 years, billions of innocent people were put on house arrest, stripped of their human rights, bombarded with repetitive fear propaganda, forced to choose between their job and trial drugs, cancelled, silenced, and bullied for asking questions. Now, in 2023, we're dealing with inflation we can't afford, rising energy prices, climate change propaganda, cancel culture and division, intrusive surveillance, and increasing death rates. You can threaten us as much as you want, but we have this message for you. We are many, we are united, and we are ready. Enough is enough. We are no longer afraid of you and your evil plans. So bring it on. Any group or person can host one of these events in their city. You can also help us spread the word or check to see if there's already an event in your area. Head to www.weareready.world for all the info.
Freedom!
Just get me
Freedom. I live with the line.
till you see the road.